Hello and welcome to this episode of Thrive by Additive-Free Lifestyle. We are up to episode 189. Oh my goodness. Okay, we're Tracey and Jo, two sisters who are very passionate about asking questions and seeking information for things that make us curious. Thrive is a podcast show that will help you lower your toxic load, guide you through various stages of life, and give you permission to ask questions and seek advice on topics you may not yet understand. And that is exactly what happens in this podcast episode. We talk to Chelsey from Chelsey Lymphatics, I think it's called. And she is amazing on all things lymphatic drainage. But I do have to say, throughout this episode, Jo got a big eye-opener into why I love lymphatic drainage so very much.
I did. Before we started recording, I said to Tracey, I think you just take the reins on this one. I'll just sit back and listen because I don't know too much about it. And you will hear me take over. I'm asking all these questions. I was so excited. I've actually already booked an appointment to go and see her. It's very, very interesting. And I think that you will get so much out of listening to this. Now, it is a 2-part series because we got on a roll and we just wanted to keep speaking and learning. And so stay tuned for next week if you're listening to this live because, there'll be 2 parts.
Yeah, we like to keep it short and sweet. We know many people listen in their cars or traveling on short little journeys or on their walks out in the morning. So we will just end it pretty much and then dive straight into the next episode.
Enjoy this one, guys.
Welcome, Chelsey. Welcome to our show. I know I'm super excited. Jo's here to learn some more. I have been harping on about lymphatic drainage for quite a while on our social media platforms, and you were highly, highly recommended by a lot of our audience. So thank you. I started following you and I've bought some of your products and I want to know a little bit more about it. And I want our audience to know more about it. So my first question to you is, first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself. And then I want to know what our lymphatic system does.
Okay. Thank you, Tracey. Thank you, Jo. Thank you so much for having me. And I just love it when people come and say, oh, yeah, I've been rubbing my boobs. I've been listening to Chelsey and just reaching women and giving them easy ways to get their lymphatic system flowing, is my jam. And I've stumbled across this I was 19 when I started my first business. So just a little couple of years ago. And I just found that the way that I was massaging and moving and grooving with their bodies, getting these men and these women to move their bodies in different ways was stimulating this flow. And they were having detoxification reactions, but they were getting better faster. And I thought there has to be something in this. So then the second thought was, how do I reach more people? And is this something that people can do themselves? So the lymphatic system is an amazing system. It's a big, long word that sometimes can scare people. And I don't want it to be scary. I want you to know that when you hear the word, it doesn't have to mean cancer. It doesn't have to mean big, bad, and ugly. It can be a system that is going to work for you and with you and create happiness in every other system in your body. So it's 15 liters of fluid. When you put it into perspective with blood is 5 liters.
Wow.
Right? 15 to 5. So this massive amount of fluid that is everywhere, this clear fluid. Now it's clear mainly in your body, unless you've got tattoos, then it will go like a gray sort of color. So it's a clear fluid that runs throughout and it's in your brain. And it's also all throughout your body. And it's how your body gets rid of waste. Okay. So it picks up the pathogens in there, all of the nasties that shouldn't be in your body. It takes all of those nasties to your lymph nodes. And we have hundreds of lymph nodes. That's a security point. So we've got lots in your tummy. As you know, in your tummy, your lymph is really important to transport fats. So it's helping transport hormones and nutrients, picks them up and transports it all the way around to the different organs and areas of the body. So we've got all of those lymph node areas in your belly. All these lymph nodes areas, mainly the ones we know about are in the neck because they're the ones when we go to the GP and we go, oh, that's the only place they touch us. Oh, your glands are up.
Yeah.
Okay, the glands are up because they're dealing with a lot of crap. There's a lot of pathogens in there. Your immune system, your T cells and your B cells are in there trying really hard to break down all of the nasties that, unfortunately, as you girls know, is in the food that we eat, the water that we drink and all of those things. So it's that lymphatic system that is trying to pick all of that up and take it to the nodes, to the cells. So then it can be your T cells and your B cells can sort the macrophages. Your immune system can sort out what's good and what's bad and do what it needs to do after that. So I just thought, wow, like we are what we eat, but we are what we can't get rid of. And if our body can't get rid of all of this excess toxins, we're just going to be a stinky, debris, smelly, ugly, muddy dump of dam water. And you're not going to think clearly. You are not going to have the energy to move. Your body is going to be inflamed and swollen. Your hormones are going to be all out of whack. Brain fog. We're not going to work properly. But if we can get that filtration, if we can encourage that filtration and help your lymphatic system to dump all of that debris. So our brain is at 8 grams of protein waste a day, our brain uses. And if we're not getting rid of that, our memory isn't going to work properly. It can lead to Alzheimer's and dementia and stress, anxiety, all of those things. So that's why I'm so passionate about talking about the lymphatic system is, one, we don't know too much about it. And 2, you can do a damn lot to help it.
Okay. We've all got questions.
I want to dumb it down because I feel like I just have really basic questions.
Yes.
So your lymphatic system is the 15 litres of fluid.
Yes. Yeah. So all of that fluid running through. Yes.
Okay. And hundreds of lymph nodes. I thought we just had them in our neck, under our arms, in our groin.
Yeah. No. Everywhere. Mainly, see where they are? Mainly in those areas where there's joints. Because when you move your arms, you're pumping. You're stimulating through that area. When you're moving your neck, you're stimulating through those nodes. You're helping that flow in behind your knees because you're bending your legs. So you're correct where the locations are in the joints of your body, but they are mainly in your neck, still hundreds in your tummy, in your groin. See, this is when mainly people hear about lymph node removal is with after a cancer diagnosis. And when you have lymph nodes removed, then the lymph system comes up and says, oh, there's no node there anymore. What am I going to do with this junk? Where am I taking this waste? So then it has to find the next node and find other pathways to be able to take it to the security system of your body to then to be able to be broken down and sorted out which is waste and what can and can't go through. Okay.
The body is amazing, isn't it?
The body is amazing. So with the waste, does that come out in our sweat? Like how does the waste come out of us?
Yeah. So we have all different types of detoxification organs. We've got our liver, is really big for detoxification, but how it gets out of our body, pooing, we need our bowel movements at least twice a day. We need to be able to poo. Like if you eat twice a day, you should poo twice a day.
My husband does.
You have a look at a baby.
I'm not so good.
You have a look at a baby. How many they eat, they poo. They eat, they poo because their system is working. Okay. The older we get, the more clogged up we get. We're not having enough fiber. We've got too many parasites, all those things happening in our gut. We're too stressed. We're not drinking enough water. Our magnesium levels are really low. So for some reason, all of our food holds hands, and all just waits for each other and all like comes out all at once instead of coming out, a couple of times a day. So as long as you're pooing every day, urine, okay, we need to pee. That's how we get rid of a lot of waste. Sweating too, like infrared saunas, getting out in the sun. I love the sun, definitely for sweating, the sun. But how we get rid of our fat mainly is through our breath. Our respiratory system. Okay. Oh. So how you want to spray in some fat out. So when we exercise, that's why it's important to breathe. When we do that diaphragmatic breathing, all this breath work that's super cool to do at the moment, we're pumping our lymph, pumping our lymph, but we're blowing out fat.
Oh, wow. Okay. My mind's just been blown.
Yes,
I'm just sitting here like, okay.
But
So,
Tracey and I have
I've done
our
a lot
mouths
of
open. And we're like,
yeah, I'm sitting here for those just listening. Like me and Joe are sitting here like gaping. Our mouths are open. All right. So
why aren't we taught any of this? This is my question.
why aren't we?
Why isn't this just a general fact?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
And I was going to say it, but I feel like I say that every podcast. So then I didn't say it because like I just learned something new every single podcast. And then I'm like, why do we not know this from birth? Like, why are our ancestors not teaching us? Because why don't they know it? You know, like it's just crazy.
Yeah.
All right. So
Great.
I was going to say before, I've done a lot of yoga and they talk about, I think it's called tiger breath or lion breath or something. And you've got to go like, and really, and maybe that's why, like it's part of all of that. I just thought it was like a cool breathing exercise.
Yes. Yeah.
Which I've enjoyed. Okay. All right. So do we need to do it daily?
Yes.
Or should we be doing it multiple times a day?
Hold
Can
on.
you do it too much?
We haven't talked about doing what. So tell us how to drain the lymphatic system.
So
like,
do you want me to demonstrate?
Yeah, but you'll need to walk us through us for those people that are listening.
Okay. So our lymphatic system all comes into two little tubes that go into your heart. So our lymph from our toes, from our fingertips, from everywhere has to drain into our heart. So when we wear bras, so picture you've got your bra on, is that going to be stopping the flow of lymph from your tummy up to your heart? Yes. Tight undies, that's going to be stopping the lymph flowing up to your heart as well. Any operations, so hysterectomies, boob jobs, explants, any invasive like cesareans, anything like that, any of that scarring, any of those operations, is that going to stop the flow of coming up from your legs up to your heart? Yes. So all of those things we need to get past. So if you have had operations, if you do have any restrictions in your chest, if you do wear tight bras and tight undies, like the same undies every day, you wouldn't believe how many women wear the same undies, the same style of undies every day. I can see their leg goes up, 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 up. Then they've got this pouch at the top where the fluid is stuck. And they've got this line where the undies with that elastic has stopped, has all like creased all of their lymphatic lines, and you can see it. You can see them just by looking at them. Okay. So any of those things are going to cause restrictions. Any amount of excess toxins in your body, any injuries, sore muscles, stress, lymph isn't going to flow. This gentle flow of ocean, this river isn't going to flow if you are holding on so tight, and stressed. So all of those things are going to mean you need to do it more.
Do what though?
The flow that I'll talk through now. So just like you brush your teeth every day, we need to brush your body, but we need to do it in the right direction. So picture your body like a bottle of champagne. We're going to pop the cork at the heart. So all of that lymph, all that flow can start coming up. There is no point us squeezing. Normally when I talk to people about doing dry brushing and brushing their body, they say, oh yeah, I do that. And they start at their hands or they start at their feet. There is no point us starting at the feet and hands if the top section's all blocked up. It's like squeezing toothpaste from the bottom with the lid still on. You're just going to cause more inflammation and trouble. Okay. So we start, that's why the shirt, start at the boobs. Okay.
I love it.
For those people that aren't watching the video, Chelsey has this T-shirt on that says boobs all over her boobs.
Yes, start at the boobs. So that's why women who are breastfeeding or women who have their husbands like boobs, a lot, and that stimulate all of like the massage all through the boobs, they normally don't have any lumps and bumps throughout their chest because their lymphatic system's being energized and pushed through. So what we're going to do is just using gentle strokes. Now, I've invented these gloves. So for people listening, one side of the glove is spiky side. That's our stimulation side that replicates a dry skin brush, but a lot spikier and a lot more stimulating. Then on the other side, we have our magnetic balls for slower, deeper movement of lymph. So on the spiky side, we're going to use that as a brush, and we are just brushing at the heart. Just like, what does Tarzan do before he goes and saves Jane?
Pumps his chest.
He beats his chest. He stimulates his lymphatic system. What do those beautiful guys and girls do when the New Zealanders, when they do the haka, right before they go to war? They're stimulating their lymph flow, because once you open that up, all of the flow, that lactic acid can move through so much faster, so they don't feel sore as quickly. Got me?
Interesting.
Interesting.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
This is so interesting.
We're going to start at the chest, and we're just brushing towards the heart. Just brushing. We go underneath the boobs and we're brushing towards the heart as we add in the deep breath as well. So just
Can I ask you a question about the boobs? Now, Tracey has bought these gloves, and we will link in our show notes where you can add a link to these gloves. Now, I have used Tracey's, and like they're quite powerful. Like, so how do you sort of get used to them without them hurting you? If you have
sensitive skin, so your skin should be able to handle the brushing with the gloves.
Mine cannot.
So if you have sensitive skin, we just start by touching.
Okay.
We just start by tapping, but we start tapping at the chest at the main point first. And then you move your way down your arm with the tapping. And then eventually, next you're going to be able to add little strokes. We don't have to get in really deep and push. It's just a touching and the little strokes towards the chest. So we're opening up the chest area first. We're making sure we don't have a bra on. We normally do this naked before we hop into the shower. And so
that was something I was going to ask, because I actually do it when I get out of the shower. Is that a problem?
Okay, no, it's not a problem. But if you do it beforehand, we're also dry skin brushing. So we're getting rid of those dead layers of skin that can sit and stop the sweat and detoxification process. New skin every 30 days. So if you're doing some other type of exfoliation, well, that's fine.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, cool.
So I've always been a little bit scared to dry brush is probably the only thing I've ever done, is like my boobs and just that thinner skinned area. So do we need to be careful of like your neck, those areas? Yeah.
So with the neck, we use a toothbrush. Okay. So we grab our toothbrush, and see, this is a whole new system, our lymphatic system of our brain. When you put on moisturizer, most women are taught to always go up, like pat up, push the wrinkles up for some reason, when all of these lymphatic nodes, like lymphatic but for the brain, they have to drain to your heart as well. So by pushing up, you're stopping the detoxification flow. You're pushing against the grain of how everything needs to flow down towards your heart. So that's when you just grab your trusty old toothbrush and you brush down your neck, and then from the center of your face across to your ear, brushing across, and then down. That's as simple as it gets for doing your lymphatic system. And then also, we could do a whole other podcast, but sleeping is how your brain drains waste, and sleeping on your left-hand side.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'm just picturing which side I sleep. I sleep on my left-hand side. Winner.
Yes.
But do you know why I sleep on my left-hand side? It's because it faces away from my husband. Because I hate him when he breathes. I'm like, stop breathing.
And they can make these noises and different things. It's like, no.
They do. But that's my bursitis side, and I get that damn sore. Anyway, all right. So before the shower is best, if possible, unless you're dry, like unless you're using a body scrub or something in the shower. Definitely daily. Should we do it more than once? Like, is there a certain type of person that should be doing it more than once a day?
Yeah, I've had chronically ill patients and who have been on over 10 different painkillers a day. And they did the sequence, I think, 17 times a day. I think she said she got up to 17 times a day doing the sequence, but she got her painkillers down to just a natural magnesium and got off all of her painkillers.
Wow.
So What we have to be careful of, though, is a lot of people are toxic. A lot of people are sick. When we start moving this around, and if their vacuum cleaner of their body is only just a Kmart special, we're moving a lot of junk. So they're going to feel like crap. They're going to have those detoxification signs like the runny nose, the runny eyes, the headaches, like the coffee cravings. People just might want to just lay on the couch and not move. And I'm fine with that because obviously their liver can only do one thing at a time and their digestive system can only do one thing at a time. And I would like that time to be spent on detoxifying than in energy in arms and legs. So that's when we need to make sure that they're having high fiber in their diet, lots of greens to support that liver process. I don't think that it can happen just with food. I think supplementation is really needed because we're all deficient. We're toxic and we're deficient at the same time. So for those people who are generally healthy, it's surprised. So my PT, after she came into clinic and had a lymphatic session, she threw up on the way home and she's a personal trainer. Okay.
Wow.
I cannot judge. We cannot judge. We can't see what's going on. Like we do thermography, photographs here as well. We can see congestion in people's body. We can see their progress, but we can't really see we don't know how well their liver, how they're going to handle this simple massage in the correct sequence.
Okay. Starting at our heart. Now, I've heard a lot about the termini, which I thought was in this sort of clavicle bone, and that's what I was opening.
Yes.
So is that sort of the same thing?
It's the same. Yes. It's all around the same because I like to simplify things. I don't think we have to know too many big, long names, like the word lymphatic is long enough. As long if it's easier for me to teach people to say just towards the heart, just drain towards the heart. It's just makes it so much easier. And this is how we get the results is just by pushing towards the heart, starting there and then working your way out, but always pushing up. When we get to the tummy, digestion, we need to go clockwise around our tummy. So we're rubbing clockwise in circular motion and like just the help that parents say that their children, their youngsters get just by using the gloves and massaging their tummy in that clockwise motion changes. They're like, oh, he was so angry and upset. And now the 3-year-olds just go for the gloves now because they know how much better they feel.
So good.
I love the gloves. I have to admit, I still have a beautiful brush that I have, and I do use the brush on my softer areas, but I do use the gloves on those areas that I know tolerate that better. And I love being able to mix them up. And I love the ball side, the magnetic ball side on like those tighter calf muscles or in and around my butt cheeks and my, I guess that undie line because I wear grandma undies. And like, I get stuck right into any sore areas with those, with the ball side. I'm like, giving it a good rub. It's awesome. They're really awesome.
So you can do that over top of your clothes as well. You can do that long distance traveling. I take them to the pub. If I'm drinking, I'll take my gloves to the pub because I'm pushing all like the lymph through. So I know the next day that I won't have a headache by, supporting my lymphatic system while I'm drinking. I'll take them on a plane. When I used to go on a plane, I would use the gloves on a plane. I've got a lot of people who they travel with their caravanning and she sits there and she uses the ball side while they're traveling along. Yeah, lots of beneficial reasons before and after gym as well.
Okay, before and after, because I would imagine it would move the lactic acid around.
Yes.
Yeah, interesting.
So to stimulate first, to wake up the lymph, ready to receive, and then to push it through afterwards.
Yeah. Why do you think men aren't doing this? It's just not. I'm imagining it would benefit them too.
Yeah. So men are toxic creatures in so many ways. So you look at your typical tradie, the V's, the meat pies, the iced coffees, all of the takeaway, deep fried, everything. And then you have a look at the emotional side as well as clogged up lymphatic system is a detachment from joy and not doing things that you love all of the time too. So, but not sharing, not communicating, like keeping things trapped inside. So yeah, I've had an 18-year-old boy on my table who's between him and Lisa Curry, like the two most blocked up lymphatic clients that I've had on my table. So how we're getting to men though is with the sporting world. But the men, the over 50 men now who are getting the beer belly and who are slowing down, they're not having the energy or the testosterone, the sex drive or like anymore. They're the ones who are now coming and chatting with us and making changes. Yeah.
Well,
so
I mean, if they lose that sex drive, then, that would be a big wake up call to a man, I'm sure.
yeah.
I better get healthy. How do you know when someone is so blocked up? Because you've mentioned that a couple of times. Like, how can you tell?
Yeah. So I can really look at people now and I can see, so if I'm looking at them naked, but I can like sort of look at their legs too. You can see that bit of fat that sits over top of the bra, that back fat that sits there that shouldn't be there. Also the top of the arm, there's some blockages through there. That high bit of fat that sits underneath the boobs in that area as well, same as in the top of the legs. But anywhere that there's inflammation, girls, and if they're not healing properly, because if you fall over and hurt yourself, just say I fell over and grazed my elbow, it's the lymphatic system that has to go there and heal that, has to get rid of the waste, but then has to bring all the nutrients in. So if their body isn't healing, so diabetics, if they're not healing very well, I know that their lymphatic system needs support too. There isn't anything really that we can't relate back to the lymphatic system, and because it's the immune system, right? It's your whole immune system is your lymph, and it's something that we can all make a difference with just by, drinking your water, moving your body, maybe doing a little bit of rebounding, making sure that our food is easier digestible, having that fiber, moving your jaw, moving your neck, moving at those joints too. So it's all of these things that we can do. And if it just takes brushing your body, but it's not just brushing. You can sit in your chair and you can beat your chest. You can put your arms up in the air and wave them all around, like turning in light bulbs. You can stamp your feet. There's just all these different movements that you can add in that are going to help get that lymphatic system moving, but please always start at the chest.
Okay. Because that was a question I had was like, there's some really busy people out there that just will say they don't have time, and like, so they could be at work and they could be just tapping on their chest, like at work and giving, like, when you hold your kids down in your typewriter on their chest, or your older brother used to hold you down when you were a child, a typewriter on your chest. Could, like, if you're sitting in an office by yourself, and maybe you could typewriter on your chest yourself. If you're driving in the car, you could definitely do that at traffic lights. You could massage under your arms at traffic lights if you're sitting in the car.
Definitely.
You could get, like, down around your neck. So there's definitely ways to be incorporating. So you don't have to do the whole sequence all at the same time, as long as you're doing parts of it throughout the day would be beneficial than doing none.
Absolutely. And I even have my toothbrush in my car.
Okay.
And at my desk and everywhere, I've got a couple of different toothbrushes that I sit and brush my face to do my lymphatic movement, lymphatic drainage. Yeah, so as long as you're doing those types of things, but get active in your life just a little bit. It doesn't have to be too much, but just like a couple of nice deep breaths, relaxing your shoulders, waving your shoulders around. For those people with mobility issues, I get them to do bed synchronized swimming. So I get them to pretend that they're a beautiful synchronized swimmer, and they can then like lay on the bed and they can start with their chest. They can move their arms up and down. They can move their shoulders up and down. They can put their legs up the wall, point their toes backwards and forwards. So they're any type of mobility. My pop only passed away last year and he was 93 and on no medications, no pharmaceutical drugs at all. And I would go into his, he did go to care for 6 months before he passed away, and I would play patty cake. We would do his chest and we would play patty cake, and then I would get him to stamp his feet. And I didn't care that anybody else was looking at us and thinking that we're the crazy. but it's what kept him going.
Mm.
And it kept his brain going as well.
That's
Yeah.
lovely. Yeah, okay,
So
because I'm a bit
important.
of an all or nothing type of person, and I would assume that if I missed a session in the morning, my brain would be like, oh, we'll just do it tomorrow. But I can do little bits throughout the
Mhm.
day and it would still be okay. All right, note to self. Well, that is it for part 1 of the Chelsey Jean Lymphatic podcast. We are so intrigued by this episode, and we think that you will be too. So to get all of the show notes, you can head to our website, additive-freelifestyle.com/podcast 189. So that's additive-freelifestyle.com/podcast 189. We cannot wait to continue on with this episode next week. So make sure that you subscribe to our podcast show on the app that you are listening to this on. It's actually really important you'll be notified when a new episode comes out. It helps our reach, it helps our stats. And you know what actually really helps us is if you do take the time to leave a review. Not only does it give us a confidence little boost and it makes us feel like we're doing a good job in the world, but it encourages other people to listen to this show as well. And just the amount of information that we give and how helpful it can be to people, we would really appreciate you leaving us a review. So over and out now. We will be back next week with part 2 and we'll talk to you then.